We're live. Hi, everybody. Susan Batchelder here, and I'm coming to you live on Tuesday night, just a few minutes after 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This hangout will be recorded, though, so if you miss it or if you're watching the recording later, that's fine. The conversation guaranteed will be interesting, as it always is. On the panel here, I have some other incredible people with some value. We're going to bring you a conversation. It's going to be based around Race Cycler. And yet at the same time, it doesn't have to be just about Race Cycler. What we have to share with you tonight, you can take into any business. It's evergreen, it's usable, it's simply about building relationships. And I called the hangout tonight Unified Vision, really just to point out that different people, different knowledge bases, different skill sets, different backgrounds, different experiences, all different people can come together in one place, in one group, or in one opportunity, one business, and work together and create some huge results. Some really exciting things can happen. All you need is an open mind and the ability and the desire to build relationships and maybe learn a bit. So, and have a bit of fun. That's what you're going to learn on this conversation tonight. So I'll start off by just introducing the panel, and then we're just going to get right into it because we're gearing up the conversation before we went live, so I know pretty much exactly where it's going to go. So there is Michael Eady. Do you want to say hello?
Hi, everybody.
And we have Kent Brown.
Hello.
And we have Kay. Whoops, I'm going to forget how to pronounce your last name or forget how to say it.
Kirkpatrick. It's Kirkpatrick.
Thank you. I always got some sort of bumble up. Sorry. And then we have Charles Hill.
Hey, I'm here.
Hi. So what we were talking about actually before, if you guys don't mind, maybe we'll just carry on into that conversation. We were talking about how to start. How do you start building a relationship, or how do you bring somebody into inviting them into something, whether it's Race Cycler or some other opportunity? How do you start that? And where do you go from there? How do you build into that? Is anybody dying to jump in on that?
Well, I can start with the little something from classic network marketing, and that's the acronym FORM, which when you're meeting someone, if you don't know them already, a great way to start the conversation is to talk about family, occupation, recreation, or money, because everybody has a story to tell about each one of those categories. And usually if you just learn to listen, people will tell you all the things that you need to know to find where it is that they're lacking something, or what it is that they're wanting to get out of a business or any new financial gain. So listening and then talking about people's lives is kind of how I start with people.
Awesome. I love that. I've actually never been told that acronym, so that's a keeper.
Yeah, that's classic network marketing from like 20 years ago. I learned that when I first came in the industry, and it's helped me so much.
That's awesome.
I heard that first in an Excel presentation, and it was about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. That is true.
But it's the same
Absolutely
thing. Yeah, it hasn't changed.
Exactly. It's what we were talking to Michael about just a minute ago. It's you want to come and you make a friend, and you listen to what they have to say. And the biggest part of any situation is to let them tell you what they want. And if you just listen more than you speak, you'll end up growing your business pretty well, and you'll find people that will work with you a lot better. So unfortunately, a lot of my people, they think the starting point is actually at what I would consider about number 3. They want to go out and meet people. They want to start and get on the phone. They want to start calling everybody and introduce this business. And for me, I back up, because when I get a new person, that's their first problem, is they create their own fear factor. They want to come in, they want to jump in, and they want to get started because we're all excited, right? Well, you can't get started until you know how. And the funny thing is that everybody, all of us know how. We meet people every day. And that's where you have to start. Back up from the run out to get your business running and run out and meet people, because every one of them is going to ask you, well, what do you do? Or how are you doing? Or what have you been doing today? Any one of those questions is an immediate step in to say, well, I teach people how to do business on the internet. I don't tell them, hey, I've got this business that you can make all this money from. I just give them a little simple one. I work every day and I teach people how to make money on the internet. And so many people want to but don't know how. And I'm not saying that I know better than anybody else, but it sure takes the lid right off the can, because now I'm talking about team. I'm talking about working with Susan. I'm talking about working with Michael. I'm talking about working with all the people that I work with. And then we work the conversation into what we do. And I'll tell you what, it's the easiest lead in, and it takes the fear factor away, because you're already comfortable talking about what their interests are and what you do, and you can meld them together. And the minute you do that, now you're buddies, and you've got a lot to talk about.
I like that. I like that. And you highlighted two of the things that we talked about quite extensively, not last week, but the week before, I believe, and that was the fear factor. Eliminate what their fear factor is and find their hot spot, find their why. And you're going to find out both of those with that conversation about their family or what they're doing, that conversation that you're listening to them. You're going to be able to key into those and help bring those around.
Yeah, and you know, I tend to leave out a big important piece of all that, and that is try not to do it alone. Try and do it with Susan, with me, with Michael, with Kay, with people that you're used to working with, and you know they're thinking, you have like minds, and you're together. And you're building this relationship, and now you're talking team. And when you do that, people are a lot more comfortable. Of course, they don't like to be inundated with a lot of information from people calling up saying, hey, I've got this program I really want you to look at. It's more like, hey, I'd like to introduce you to Alex, or I'd like to introduce you to John, or something like that. He's helping me teach people how to do business on the internet. And then you carry into the conversation. Take the pressure off.
Exactly, and there's lots of tools that we have at our fingertips. For example, Kent does regular call every Monday night, every Thursday. You know the time, you know the number. You can invite them to that call. Or this Hangout, it's recorded. If it resonated with you, then you keep this recording and you send your new people to that, kind of warm them up to the conversation.
In fact, if you're in our team, you can even put your user ID or your affiliate name at the end of the link that this video is sitting inside of. You can put your link, you can put it right in there and then send it to people, and then when they decide to join, they make that decision. All they have to do is click the button and they're encoded to you. You know, that's another beauty of what we've got going on with our team here, is that, you know, there's tools you can use to share this information. If this video resonates with you, you can share this whole page and your link would be connected to it, so that all they have to do is hit that button that says get started, and boom, they're signed up to you just because you shared a page that was, you know, inside of our group in Facebook. So that's why you want to be a part of the Top Racers Club, you know?
Exactly. And you don't need to know how to build the page. You just need to make friends with a nerdy girl.
Talking about herself, if you guys didn't pick up on that.
And I did that recently, so I can attest that it works.
Kent, I know you have a voice about how complicated this is. Could you please tell us how tricky this is?
Sure. It's it's not complicated at all. As I was listening to Charles talk, what he said made a lot of sense. I love what Kay said. You know, when I got started in this industry 6-7 years ago, whatever it was, I used that same acronym, FORM, and just so you guys know what that stands for family, occupation, recreation, and money. And that's kind of the steps. That was kind of where I cut my teeth at, to kind of figure out how to get in touch with people, get inside their heads, figure out what was going on, build relationships, and all that good stuff. But I actually now I really do. I take a different approach now, and it's The only word that I know to come up with is confident arrogance. I actually wrote about this in a chapter in the book that I wrote, the 5-minute napkin presentation. But confident arrogance is this: if you can create an atmosphere that people they love and they want to be a part of, it changes the dynamics of it. And what I mean by that is this: you get people who are asking you, how do you live in freedom? I mean, what are you doing to be able to be so happy? I mean, why am I always seeing pictures of you on vacations and traveling and not having to wake up to an alarm clock, and you're always talking about people driving in that traffic and that 40-hour-a-week job? And what are you doing? And it changes the dynamics of everything, because now people are asking you, and it no longer becomes a sales pitch. You're not having to convince somebody or coerce somebody or persuade somebody or trick somebody or whatever term you want to use. It just becomes something so simplistic that people want what you have. I'll give you a great example. If I had the winning lottery tickets and I knew what the number was, and I could convince somebody and portray that I had those winning numbers, obviously everybody's going to want to be my friend, right? They're going to want to gravitate towards me. They're going to want to know, how did you figure out those numbers? What fortune teller did you talk to? What computer program did you use to figure out what the numbers were going to be? Everybody wants that. So my approach, and I've kind of changed it over the years and kind of reinvented myself, but over the last couple of years, it really has been that. It's just creating an atmosphere that people want to be a part of, whether it be RaceCycler, whether it be some other company, whatever the case may be. The thing about RaceCycler, and give me just a second to talk about this, because the industry that I started out off in, or the company that I started off in this industry, it required me to go out and sponsor 24 new people each month. Me personally. Not my team, but me, myself. I had to go out every single month in order to get a paycheck. I had to personally recruit and enroll 24 new paid affiliates. Now, if you're listening to this, that may sound like an extreme number. At the time, because it was the only thing I had ever been exposed to, I thought that was the norm. I thought every company was doing that. So that's just what I did, and I learned how to do that. So then when I got involved with RaceCycler, the simplicity of this, I mean, getting 2 people one time and just teaching them how to duplicate that to me just seemed like a walk in the park. I mean, that to me was a no-brainer. But I could understand how a brand new person coming into this who's never been involved with the industry may approach that and say, well, that seems like a lot. I got to get 2 people. I've got to figure out how to get 2 of my friends to understand and think the way that I do and understand the concept here and how it pays out and all that good stuff. So I have to even take myself. I have to kind of keep myself held down in the chair, have a little patience with people as they tell me, this seems difficult, this seems hard, I don't have 2 friends, I can't get 2 people to listen to me, I don't know how to portray it, I don't know how to explain it, is there a video, is there a website, is there a hangout, where do I send people to, what conference call do I have them call in on? It really is very simple, and in fact it's as simple as what George just said. You just simply build a relationship with somebody. Here's what everybody needs to understand. Everybody wants more money. I don't care if you're Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Donald Trump, everybody wants more money. Doesn't matter what dollar amount you're making right now. Everybody wants more money. So you take that and you let people know, I've got something that can help you achieve to make more money. I can take you to where you want to be, but you got to be willing to listen. You got to be coachable. You got to be teachable. You got to be trainable. And if you're willing to do those things, I can show you how to get there. And if it's something that you don't want, then you just don't want it. You can't. You cannot. There's an old saying, we guys that we've all heard it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And that's what we do. We lead horses to water. It's up to them to bow their head down and take a sip of the water. And that truly is what we do. I mean, RaceCycler, it is by far the simplest, most easiest. It is absolutely the simplest, easiest thing that I have ever been a part of. It truly is. And it's just a matter of, do you want to make some more money or you don't? If you don't, keep doing what you're doing. If you like the 9-to-5 job, if you like the bumper-to-bumper traffic, if you like the 40-hour work week, if you like dropping the kids off at daycare, if you like living paycheck to paycheck, if you like having more month before the money runs out at the end of the month, if that's the lifestyle you like, keep doing what you're doing. You've already figured out how to do that. Anybody can do that. But if you want something better, guys, we got the answer. We really do. We got the answer right here with RaceCycler. $230, make $2,200 over and over again. Teach a couple of people how to do it, repeat the process, and it just keeps coming. I mean, it really is that simple. I don't know if that was at all what you were looking for, Susan, but that's just what rolled off the tongue.
So if you have any questions after that, just splice that part out and play it every morning and every night. It'll just replay in your mind and increase your confidence. It really is that simple. I knew nothing about marketing or selling or anything when I came online 2.5 years ago. And I thought I'm just going to have to learn a whole bunch of things and figure out how to sell and become almost like I had a vision, like I had to become a different person. I had to become a marketer. And that's the way I thought for probably the first full year. And then once I decided, well, I just really have to build relationships and do the part that I'm passionate about, and I really wanted to learn how to do video marketing, which is why we're here on this Hangout. And then that's when all of a sudden everything started changing and everything started working. Building teams, selling. I can sell stuff to my list all day long if I give them a video or send them instructions or whatever the case is. But you don't have to do it that way. So just bring who you are. It doesn't matter where you came from or if you know how to market. Just bring who you are and start from where you are and listen to these simple steps and connect with people that resonate with you. Build relationships, and here we are. We're all from totally different areas of life. Kent and Kay and Charles all have a long history of marketing, so they have a huge, vast knowledge to bring to the table for marketing. And as you heard, just pieces of it, how they can bring it so simple, and they know exactly what works. I still don't know that stuff. I'm inspired. I love how they bring it simply, and it inspires me to push harder the next day. And I do all this techie stuff. I love building websites and blogging, and that's what works for me. It's just different, and it's good, and I like it. Michael.
Gosh, I know. I was like,
I just wasn't. Okay, now I'm all done.
And see. So it's interesting because We've got 3 people who have had the long history. Susan comes from a nursing background. She was a critical care nurse and then had an accident where she couldn't do that work anymore. I came from the music industry where I dealt with everybody you hear on the radio. I dealt with that. And what you get with that is, I had 16-hour days. I was always on the phone. I was dealing with texts. I was solving problems at 2 o'clock in the morning because, so-and-so wanted to change a word in a song, and I had to fix it to make sure, I was like, I don't want to live this life anymore. So I just quit and started fresh. I traveled first for a bit, and then when I came back, marketing fell into my lap. So this was all brand new to me too, but what happens is, which is really nice about this building relationships topic that we're covering right now, what happens is you meet people, just like everybody on this panel. I didn't know, the person I've known on the panel long guest is Susan, who I've known for about 1.5 years, because we met on another Hangout, because someone that we were acquaintances with in common was having a Hangout, and he invited me, and he invited her, and we stayed connected, right? So fast forward, relationship building, whatnot. Look, Charles and Susan met. We met Kent and Kate. Kate, right?
It's K with a Y.
K with a Y. So Kent and K with a Y, we all are meeting online doing things because we have a similar mindset in common, which is we can achieve anything in our lives. You can achieve anything you want in your life as long as you do something about it. Like Kent said, if you're happy doing it, whatever it is that you're currently doing, that allows you to live the lifestyle you're living, maybe it's even paycheck to paycheck, and you're fine with that because that makes you comfortable, fine. I personally was not, so I changed everything, and I actually, it was worth it to me. But what we're talking about here is so simple. So simple. It's all about 2 people and just striking up that conversation, which can be a whole different challenge in itself if you're a brand new person to all of this, but it's still 2 people. How many people are on your block, So I don't know, I was just trying to tie in all the pieces and how we're all coming from different places, and yet we're all connecting because of a common interest, which is really helping others to achieve what they want, because that's what we've got here. That's why Kent came up with it. Am I not incorrect, Kent?
No, you're absolutely correct. Since you were talking about that, the simplicity of this, there's a chapter. Again, I'm not trying to promote my book at all, but there's a chapter that I wrote about my book, and it was about how to sponsor 3 people in I think it was in 5 days or 5 days or 10 days. I forget what it was. But anyway, it's a very, very simple process. Everybody knows a host of people. Doesn't matter what your age is. If you're 24, if you're 30, 45, 50, 60, 70, whatever. Everybody knows a group of people. And I would guarantee you that if I told someone, I've got $1 million check, I need you to write down 15 names for me right now. Everybody could do that. Obviously, we could all write down 15 names. What we teach people to do, one of the processes to kind of really keep this simple, because everybody kind of needs instructions and we all need direction on how to build this, especially if you're brand new. One of the things that we teach people to do is every day for the next 5 days, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go out and I want you to explain or share or discuss this with 3 people. Just 3. That's all that's required. Hey, if you knock it out by 10 o'clock a.m., you're done. If you knock it out by 5 o'clock p.m., you're done. If it takes you till midnight, you're done. Okay? But 3 people every single day is what I'm asking you to do. Now, out of those 3 people, the first day, you may get nobody. Second day, you talk to 3 people, and out of those 3 people, maybe the third guy says, absolutely, I'm in on this. This makes total sense to me. $230 makes $2,200 over and over again. Where do I sign up, So now you got your first guy. But you had to talk to 6 people to make that happen, right? Okay. Third day, you talk to 3 more people. Maybe nobody joins. Maybe every single one of them tell you no. And that's what stops a lot of people. In fact, it's the start that stops most people, because that process of hearing that word no, for whatever reason, until you can get past that, until you can not let that affect you personally, understand one thing: they're not saying no to you. They're not saying no. I'm not going to hang out with you anymore. I'm not going to go out to dinner with you anymore. We're not going to go to ball games anymore. We're not going to go to pool parties and vacations. And your kids can't call my kids anymore. That's not what they're saying. They're just simply saying one of 2 things: either 1, I don't understand what you just explained to me, or 2, I understand it and I'm still not interested because I'm perfectly happy with the lifestyle that I have right now. And if they are, that's fine. Don't worry about it. It's a numbers game, guys. That's all it is. So you go to the next day, 3 more people you share it with. Maybe one of those share it. Maybe one of those say, yeah, this is something that I want to do. I don't fully understand it all, but I understand enough that I want to go ahead and pull the trigger on this, because what you have showed me until I get it all figured out seems to make sense, because, I'm not a math major, but $230 is a whole lot less than $2,200 over and over again. Okay, we all know that. So if you just follow those little simple steps in 5 days, that's so simple to get 2 people started here. But here's the key. Here's where you start to get rich, and this is what a lot of people miss. This truly is the big picture. This is what a lot of people miss. They get those 2 people, and here's what they do. They fold their arms and they say, I'm done. There's nothing else left for me to do. I got my 2 people. I've done exactly what they told me to do. I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch TV for the rest of the time now, because there's nothing else for me to do because I got my 2 people. Your job's not done. You have to teach those 2 people how to duplicate that. That's where the wealth starts to come in. Okay, sure, you can make $2,200 here over and over again. You can make. I've got right now, me personally, I've got people on my team right now that have made $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in just a matter of not even 30 days, simply by following a couple of basic, simple steps. If you want to make big money, real extreme money, I'm talking about get out of debt money. I'm talking about paying off mortgage money, paying off credit card money, paying off college loans, paying off car notes, paying off whatever debt you have. If that's the kind of money that you want to make, it's going to require some effort. It's going to require some work. But here's the work that it requires you to do: duplicating exactly what you started. There's nothing new here. You just take what you did, you teach those 2 people how to do that, you teach those 2 people how to teach those 2 people how to do that. You start creating leaders. One of the companies I was involved with, I even asked this, my mentor, the guy that actually kind of got me started here and got me understanding how this whole crazy industry works, I even asked him one time, I said, what, and it wasn't about me, it was about him. I said, what is it going to, he was the number 2 money earner in the company. I said, what is it going to take to make you the number 1 money earner? Because I wanted him to be the number 1 money earner, because he was a part of my direct upline. The number 1 money earner at the time was part of somebody else's upline, and it was kind of an ego thing. I wanted to be a part of the number 1 money earner's downline. What's it going to take to make you the number 1 money earner? Here's the answer he gave him. He said, it's going to take more leaders stepping up and creating more leaders. And at the time, I didn't understand that, because I was looking for the answer of, well, it's going to take a bunch of people going out there and sponsoring a bunch of other people. It's going to take somebody going out there and sponsoring a bunch of people and some great leader. No, it was about developing a leader. It was about, and this is what he told me. He said, if we can develop enough leaders who will develop enough other leaders and duplicate that and teach that, history will take its place, and that's exactly what happened. So that's what we set out to do, and we did that. We did that very thing, and it worked. I could tell you it worked beautifully, and that's what we're trying to do, and that's what we are doing with Race Cycler. We're developing those leaders, and you guys are doing the same thing. I mean, here's what Kay and I, we pray about this. We wake up every day and we talk about this every single day. Oh, if we could just find somebody who thinks like us, talks like us, would do the things that we do, put the effort in. And look at you guys. I mean, here, Michael, Susan, you guys are doing that exact same thing. And when you start getting a team of people who do that, because you guys are in our team somewhere, I'm not sure what level, but somewhere in our team, you guys exist. And because of what you guys are doing, that's what's creating the momentum. And you guys are going to see that exact same thing happen. And I know that you guys are teaching your team to do the exact same thing. And in fact, Charles, I got to give you some kudos, man. I mean, I haven't met you personally, but some of the things that I've heard you say, I know that you understand this industry. I know that you understand how it works, and you know what it takes to build this. And I'm proud to have you on my team. I'm proud to have somebody like Susan on our team, because I didn't understand these Google Hangouts. I don't understand this technology. And to be able, and Michael, for example, last night we did a team conference call. It was at 10 minutes notice. I said, Michael, can you get on the call? Can I get you the code? Can you jump on the call? And he said, man, I'm on it. And he's on the call. That's the kind of leaders that we were looking for. And you guys have showed up. And I know that you guys have got the same people on your team. And that's what's exploding this thing right now. And that's why it's happening. And what I would say to people who are, going to be watching this maybe on a recording is understand this. If you don't get involved with this, get involved with something. But if you're going to get involved with something, you might as well get involved with something that's working, which is this, right? So for $230, $2,200 over and over again just makes total sense to me. But that's kind of my take on it. That's it's worked for us. It has worked tremendously well for us, and I know it's worked very well for a lot of other people. I don't know if Kay's been on that journey with me for years now, so if she wants to throw in her 2 cents, she's more than welcome to. I'd love to hear her input on it.
Yes, please do. Go ahead, Kay.
Well, I think you said what I would say about that topic. Leaders are important. You have to find leaders, and you do that by becoming a leader and getting out of your comfort zone. Like you said, you have the shy side, Susan, when you get on even the computer, even though you've done thousands of videos, and this is not my forte. Obviously, I'm just getting started with this Google Hangout, but I'm really digging it. I think it's a definite thing that you can use to reach people all over the world. I love it. One thing that I thought of during the process of what we've been talking about tonight is I think people, once they become part of it and they really wrap their minds around it, I think it's a lot easier for them to go out, become a leader, and find leaders. But I think probably the hardest thing for people are the brand newbies, the people that don't know what to turn right or to turn left or go straight or what. They're just so confused when they come in. And I think a lot of times people feel like they have to sell this, and they've got to, learn how the boards work and what a matrix is and blah blah blah. I mean, the details like that. If people start talking to me about the details of a company they're trying to sell me, I look at them like a deer in the headlight, because I don't want to know the details like that. That's not important to me to know on the first moment of being introduced to something. And what I think sells is, first of all, confidence. People have to be confident enough to have the belief in what they're doing to exude that from themselves, because you can, if you believe it, even if you're shy or you're quiet, people will sense that in you. But if you don't believe it deep in your gut, or you're questioning yourself, people feel that, and there's like a vibe there that they won't really fully trust what you're saying, so they won't do it. But my point of bringing this whole thing up is because I think enthusiasm is what sells this to people. I mean, it's something that you want to catch. It's that group that you want to be part of. It's that thing you don't want to miss, If you come to somebody and go, I've got something that I'm so freaked out about, it's making me so excited because now I have something I can help people with. I can help myself, my family, my friends, and I can go to people and go, okay, yeah, it's out of the box. Okay, do you want to stay stuck in your box, or do you want to get out? So, one way I kind of give people like a little mental picture of how to create enthusiasm is, I don't know, lately we've been watching a lot of football and going to a lot of football games, and that excitement that you get in football, this is why people love the sport, is that like everybody's screaming and they're excited and they're going like this and they're like cheering for something, you know, and you know, everybody knows that when you are in a stadium during the game, at some point there's going to be that wave. I mean, I don't know, the Florida Gators do it. Maybe we're the only teams that do it, but you do like a wave and it starts and it goes all the way around the stadium once people get loud enough and get excited enough. You know, it's kind of like if you don't get excited, you're just another person in the crowd going, "Go team, go team," but nobody hears that. Nobody feels that excitement. But if you get a couple people around you and everybody starts doing this, then everybody wants to do it too, and then all of a sudden you've got thousands of people going around a circle with a wave, you know, and that really gets excitement. That really reaches the team. That really, you know, creates that momentum and the thing that people do want to get on board with. And so I think that the attitude that you shared the information with is really what people are attracted to, rather than the details, you know, or you know, just the minutia about how to do it. You know, nobody cares about how to log in. They want to know how do I do this, and how do I share it with people, and how do I make money? You know, so that's just a little kind of example I kind of tell people to get that excitement going, you know.
That's an awesome example, and I guess that really gives a good visual of what Kent was talking about, is the atmosphere, creating an atmosphere that people want to be a part of and be excited about. And I guess that's kind of what we're creating right here. Maybe people watching are seeing how, I mean, we hardly know each other, and we're having a great conversation here. It's just like we pulled up a chair at the kitchen table and we're having a cup of coffee, and we're just having a great old visit, and you can be a part of that. So easy.
Yeah, and I love what you said earlier. On Facebook, I had asked Susan what the theme of this would be tonight, and she said it's freedom. I mean, that's what we want to give to people. That's what we have. It's freedom in the form of a way to make money. And, you know, just because now in the world there's just no way to make money. I mean, there's hardly any jobs to go and get as there is. And this is something that you can bring to somebody that's new. It's forward thinking, and it's a way for people to get to that freedom that we all want for them and that we all have and strive for every day.
Awesome. I want to go back to Kent. You said you didn't really want to put a plug in for your book, but I actually wrote down, so I wouldn't forget, that I actually intended to put a plug in for that book, because what is it, $14.95?
Yeah, it's $14.95, and it's the 5-minute napkin presentation, and I've got about I don't know, 17, 18 chapters in there. And what it is it's just there's a little bit of my journey along the way in this crazy industry we call network marketing. But it's really packed with techniques, and I hate to use that word. I truly do, because I don't want anybody to think that you know, I'm trying to train somebody how to manipulate or anything like that. But it's just things that I've learned along the way, things that worked, things that didn't work. I mean, my gosh, for $14.95, if I could figure out how not to make mistakes, that would be a huge, you know, purchase for me. But yeah, and again, I'm not trying to make any money on this. I mean, that's pretty much what it cost me to get the book printed. But it's just it's samples and techniques and things and that I used over the last course of several years. A lot of pictures in there, proof, examples of things that have worked for me that have made the difference. I mean, it truly has. And you know, one other thing I want to say, Kay was kind of alluding to this, and Susan, you've said this a couple of times about creating the atmosphere. True stories here, guys. The band Kiss, for example, you guys are all familiar with Kiss. Great band from the 70s. I wasn't a big fan of it, but they were a great big band. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, and you guys Google this for yourself, you'll find out the facts. They used to take stages, and they would put boxes, empty boxes of PV amplifiers on the backstage. Had no amplifiers, had no speakers, had no power to it, just empty black boxes that looked like amplifiers behind the stage. The reason they did that is because they wanted to be the biggest band at the time. They wanted to create that atmosphere that we are huge, we are magnificent. Your $40 that you paid for your ticket was well worth it because you've got the biggest band in the world. Another band, Bon Jovi. A lot of you guys are familiar with that. Their first hit, well, not their first hit song, but one of their biggest hit songs, "Living on a Prayer." You guys all know that song. They actually rented a worn-out, busted-down warehouse and set up a stage, painted their name on the stage, paid people to come in and become the audience, and shot a video that got on MTV that ended up truly making Bon Jovi at that time the biggest band in the world. They created an atmosphere. They were nobody at the time. They were 5 guys from New Jersey who didn't amount to anything. Okay, they were playing bars just like a lot of other people were, but they created an atmosphere, and that's what people want. They want to be a part of something. They want to gravitate towards something, especially something that's happening, especially something that's exciting, especially something that's fun. Nobody wants to be a part of some thumb-sucking, whiny crybaby who's complaining because his board's not moving. I mean, could you imagine me calling up Charles one day and saying, "Look, I got involved with this. You know, it's $230 here. I ain't made no money yet. Still got a green flag. Board's not moving. Don't got no upline. Don't know who to call. I ain't got no conference call numbers. Hey, you want to join me?" What do you think Charles is going to tell me? He's going to tell me, "No, come look at what I'm doing." So you got to create the atmosphere, and if you create, guys, I am 100% bona fide committed to that. If you create the atmosphere, they will come run. I've said this for years. People will come and watch you burn. I could set myself on fire, put it on Facebook, create a video, and say, "Watch this video." How many hits do you think I would get off that? People want to be a part of something, and if you create it, they're going to come. And what's more fun than creating a party that everybody gets to have a good time at? And guess what? We all make money doing it. What's more fun than that? It sure beats going to work in 40 hours and making somebody else's dreams come true. So that's I kind of threw in my 10 cents worth there, Susan.
That's all right. That's all right. And I did want to put in that talk about your book, because really for $14.95, the stuff that you've already mentioned from it, I'm definitely ordering it. I'll probably order a few copies so I can give them out to my team. My son is definitely going to read the book. Another phrase that I like that you use is thinking into results. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Thinking into results. And that's kind of, I haven't read the chapter, of course, so I might be assuming, but I mean, it kind of does make sense. And thinking into results is how I connected with Charles initially, because we're both looking at the board. We're not in each other's direct downline, but we're looking at the board and how are we need to make this board move. So he's emailing me, I'm emailing him. It did take a bit to get in touch with each other, but that's how we got to know each other, is we were both thinking into results, discussing how, geez, maybe we should work together, or how can I help you, how can I help you, and we're helping each other.
That's definitely a certain aspect of it. Thinking into results actually isn't a chapter in the book that I wrote, and that's more of what Kay does. She actually is an instructor on a course that we actually offer through our company called Reverse Revolution 180. It's called Thinking into Results. It's a 12-week course. Takes extreme dedication. In fact, we actually just started this course up about a week ago for the next group that's coming through it. But I will say this: it probably, no, I will say this: it is the most powerful course that I've ever been through. That's actually how Kay and I met. She actually had gone through the course, and she jokes about this all the time. She said, "I'm creating my boyfriend," and this was before we ever knew each other. She was doing dream boards, and she was making pictures and making statements, and kind of putting it out into the universe and thinking about that and making those statements. And I guess it was about a year or so later, I popped up on the scene. And it's kind of funny, our story, because the dream board that I had actually had her on it as well. And we never even knew each other, but she was creating her own dream, and I was creating my own dream, and we started to compare the two, and it was like they matched up and meshed perfectly. But again, that's kind of her deal, what she does, and she teaches that course and does a phenomenal job at it. But that's in fact, anybody that wants to be a part of that, get in touch with Kay, because she'll lead you down the right path. She'll take you where you want to be.
Well, I can sum it up for you in one sentence, though. And if anybody can actually just apply this to their lives, the one thing that everybody has to understand and learn from this course, and they come out knowing this, is that what you think about, you get more of. And if people would just understand how powerful your mind is and how powerful that statement is, they would start changing how they think and what they put in their minds. And I know you're really good at thinking really good things, Susan, because I follow you on Facebook, and I love almost 99, probably 100% of your stuff. I know I don't see all of it. Just really good things to think about.
Today, my post was about challenging people to use more love, joy, and patience throughout the day.
That was one that I really loved, because I just moved my mom to town, so I'm giving more care and love and patience.
There you go. Wow, look at that value. Did I not say at the beginning? I guess I thought that into it as well. I knew that this conversation, what a loaded panel of incredible value that we have brought here today. So 40 minutes, we have delivered a huge amount of golden nuggets. I'm sure that all of you watching have gotten many takeaways, and it doesn't matter who you get in touch with any of us on the panel to find out if you're not already started in RaceCycler, how to get started, how to get connected with any one of us or all of us that resonate with you, how to get that book, how to get involved in that course, how to just build whatever you want with us. We're just here bringing you value and lifting each other up. Charles, I would like to hear you speak again. We've kind of all talked around that. Do you want to close this out?
Sure, I will, and I'd like to echo a few things that have been said, but one of the things I'd like to do is praise Kent for a little bit of a tool he put on the boards not too long ago, and that was where you can run your cursor over the guy's name, click on it, and see his email, because that's exactly what brought Susan and I together. And I'll tell you one thing about the RaceCycler. It has started off as a pretty decent program. It left behind a lot of the stuff, because I do a lot of cyclers, and it left behind a lot of the bad things, brought to light a lot of the good things that cyclers do. But the nice thing is it has metamorphosized itself, there's a big word for you, as it's gone along and gotten better and better and better. The tools that it's providing are extremely beneficial at working with teams. You can go on your boards and you can find out exactly who's there, and you can send them an email and talk to them, and that's how Susan and I met. Completely different teams, completely different uplines, and yet we're working together and melding together. And it's just unbelievable how exciting it is for a new guy coming in to realize, oh my gosh, there's somebody up there that's going to help me. Because most people come into a network marketing program and sit because they're ignored by their upline. And this is one group that you can get in and not be ignored. In fact, you might get more phone calls than you really want, because we're always looking to help. And I will put out a challenge that's kind of an echo from Kent last night, in that don't worry this week about getting two to get two to get two to get two. Let's all go out and find one. This week, let's find one together. Call your upline. You can find any of us on Facebook. Get a hold of us. Let us help you get that one. And if everybody in our team can get one person, talk about the feeling of abundance that we would all have. Talk about the feeling of joy that you could pass down the line if you are helping that new person go get their new person in the next 3 to 5 days. I've done it with all of my guys, and there are people, I've had 15 phone calls today with people saying, hey, I'm going to get this one before you do. So you're right. It's fun, it's exciting, and it is a challenge. Challenge yourself daily. Look for one person. If you do it today, tomorrow, or the next day, and then you restart after you do it that time, you're going to end up with 2 or 3 or 4 people and start building your group. And then introduce the team. Bring them to us. We'll teach you how to bring all of their people to you and us, and all of a sudden we are duplicating. And guys, that's what it's all about. Doesn't matter what business you're doing. My first person I brought into network marketing happened to be my dry cleaner. And what happened is a friend of mine walked into the dry cleaner shop while I was picking up my shirts, and he said, what have you been doing? So I told him exactly like I told you before, is I'm teaching people how to make money on the internet. And we started talking. And Quan, who is the dry cleaner, was listening to everything I said. And lo and behold, before I walked out of that place, I had 2 people. And Quan is probably one of the best network marketers I've ever met. And it's all because he overheard what I was talking about. And the funny thing is, my biggest mistake is the guy that I should have talked to, who happens to have been one of the teachers of my kids in high school, that I didn't talk to because I was shy, is one of the biggest networkers I know for somebody else. So talk to everybody, because it is not your neighbor, your brother, your sister. It's anybody walking around on 2 feet out there that needs to provide for their family, that needs to provide for their happiness, that needs a path to prosperity, and that's what we teach, is that path. And we teach that path with the thought of abundance and the thought of family, everybody working together. And with that thought, I'll say, if you need me, I'm on Facebook, hook me up, I'll help you, Susan will help you. Michael, I looked at the stuff that you created on the internet recently, and props to you, brother. I'm proud of you, man. That stuff looks good.
Thank you. I know there's a lot more coming. I'm just getting started on this little mission I'm working on.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Michael, do you have any closing thoughts?
I don't think I could say anything better than this, what's going on this panel, except, you know, I guess what our mission is now is to just talk to 3 people a day, you guys. Just 3 people. Just bring it up. Random conversation, just casual, 3 people a day. It came from Kent. It came from Charles. I'm thinking they must know what they're talking about. So 3 people. Bring it up. I know who I'm going to be contacting. How about you? So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is just reaching out to people and saying, hey, this. And they'll either say, cool, or they'll say, yeah, no. Or they'll say, that sounds like one of those pyramid things. And you could say, you know what it is? Come on in. No, I'm just kidding. But no, you guys, it's simple. It's really the value that's in the team alone, and the value that's in the back office is amazing. By the way, Ken, I'm already using the ebooks, right, to use as part of the funnels that I'm creating for other things that I'm working on. Like, it's so nice to just have these materials there to access as a marketer of many things, and I can use these and give them away, not just one, but a collection. I can give away a group of things, you know, because there's so many because of what you put in the back office. It's really, you guys, it's just simple. You know, invite 2 people, come on and join. So I'm going to be done talking, otherwise we'll just keep going. I'm long-winded.
Thank you. I've had an absolute ball tonight. Thank you, each one of you, for joining this panel. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Susan,
Thank you,
for
too.
putting all this together.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.